And what I'm gonna do is, before we begin, uh, first of all, welcome to the living room. Before we begin formal introductions, I just wanted to mention that I'm not gonna be talking to my live stream until the end of this conversation, which I'm having between myself and you guys. Kind of you guys. I mean, I'll open the chat later in the conversation. But I just wanted to warn you guys. There's not going to be any interaction until later. So, you know, what's up, Jessica? What's up, Kick Mom? Uh, what's up, Lalaways? Come back. I'll be talking to you guys later in the conversation. But right now it's going to be a monologue, which means I'm just going to be, talking to myself more or less. But really, talking to the camera, and it's going to be like a monologue, and the beginning and the end is going to be a live stream. So let's just get into it right now. Okay. All right. Welcome to the living room, my new podcast, where I'll just be talking about anything. I'm getting old. I'm 41, and I want to get into the juicy stuff that I think about. So there are a lot of topics on my mind every day when I wake up to when I go to sleep. And they're repeated topics. It's not just like a one-off. And I see society changing so much over the last 40 years. I mean, I would say when I was a kid, things were very simple. Born and raised in Texas, grew up there, went to school in Baltimore, Maryland for 4 years, and went over to Asia after college, and I've been here for almost 20 years. You could say in 2026 it'll be Teddy has been in Asia for 20 years. Like, that is my anniversary. It's crazy, and time flies, especially as you settle down somewhere, and the routines and the mechanisms and it's like the gears of everyday life it just runs, and then every day becomes a pattern unless you interject it with excitement, which is kind of what I'm trying to do right now. So every day I'm trying to do something a little different, and just to challenge myself to make sure that I grow as a person in every way. So I've been hitting the gym, pushing weights. I've been trying to read my Bible a lot more. So I have my Bible here in front of me. Trying to reconnect with God a lot more. So if you don't know, I was raised a Christian for most of my life. But I've had my bouts of doubt, and I've noticed that once you become religious, and once you become a Christian, or once you have some kind of sixth sense of a higher power, it becomes very difficult to operate without feeling like there's someone watching you. So it makes me very careful with what I do and what I say while I'm very religious. But it's I go in and out of religious phases. And yeah, right now I'm just trying to reconnect, and and the reason why is because I've been trying to find inspiration for my content as a creative, and I feel like I've gone as far as I can go without God, in a sense, and that I need to reconnect with my higher power. And so first of all, what's been top of mind is the battle between real artists and AI artists, right? So there's a huge war going on right now. And it's a soft war, and it's a digital war, and everyone's online, and everyone's talking trash and stuff. And I have a very unique and a special voice in this, right? Because I come at this from both angles. I know what it's like to be an artist. I've had solo and have been a part of group exhibitions. And I've been drawing and painting for longer than I've been. Okay, I've been making art for over half my life. Okay, so I know what that's like. I know what it's like spending months in the studio, working from morning to night, mixing oils, the smell of the paint thinners, and and all the mediums that I use, running to the art store, grabbing materials, coming home, continuing the work, going to secondhand bookstores, and just looking through old books and making collages. I know what that's like to be an artist. I know the struggle. I know what it's like to edit my art, digitally and sending it out to art competitions globally. I know what it's like to upload art. It's difficult. And the hardest part of being an artist is really to, how do you say this? Is to learn the craft. I know what it's like to be in art class and just to every day I have to draw still lifes and I have to make sure I get the grapes right, the shade of the grape, the contrast, between the different fruits and the texture and the lighting. And I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be an artist, right? But nonetheless, I make AI art a lot. And I'm gonna be drinking coffee because I had a late night. So I wanted to lay that down first. I'm not coming at this as somebody who does not know what they're talking about, because I spend more time now using AI as a medium than oils, than conce, than charcoal, than pencil, than acrylics. So there's two ponds. There's on one hand, you have people that are not artists talking trash, like they know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about because they've never struggled as an artist. They've never tried to get into shows and galleries and stuff, okay? They have no idea what they're talking about, all right? And then you have the other side where it's die-hard artists, where the only mediums you're allowed to use are the mediums that have been in existence and that have not rocked the boat, right? But the fact of the matter is, AI is a medium, okay? No matter how you want to cut it. I think I played around with uploading my art into Midjourney, and I pumped out my own art back to me. I had to describe it, and then it did a great job, first of all, of telling me what it saw. It did an even better job of actually making my art better than I could have made it myself, which is embarrassing because I spent at least a week on each of those drawings that I did. And it's dude, AI just pumped it out in seconds. And they pumped out a lot. It's dude, it would have taken a factory of Teddy Wangs to make all those drawings. But dude, that AI just pumped it out just like that, which is crazy. And so that was an eye-opener. That's when I knew it was over. It was over. Now, I knew that video would have its Midjourney moment soon, and it came last year in 2024. That's when AI video blew up. Now in 2025, it's still blowing up because AI video encompasses a lot more than AI imagery. Because in AI imagery, it's like photography. It's you're working with one picture at a time. But with video, you're working with a million images at a time, right? It's crazy. And so I just wanted to get that straight. I talk about the battle between real artists and AI artists because I am a real artist. At least I think I'm a real artist. I have hundreds of pieces, okay? Sketches, drawings, sketchbooks filled with drawings, oil paintings, acrylic paintings on board, on canvas board, you name it, okay? On paper. And so trying to learn how to draw. See, that's the argument that real artists make, all right? Which I'll kind of get into. They'll say, hey, you shouldn't learn AI art, whatever, because it's not art. AI is not art, okay? You should go learn how to draw. Now, to respond to that, learning how to make AI art, which I think it is art, all right? It's a form of expression. It's a medium. It is a conduit in which you channel your message through. It's difficult to make the words. It's difficult to to write sentences in a way that gets the AI to pump out the right result so that you can edit it in your video editor to turn it into a video. And that is an art piece. So in a sense, yeah, I feel like AI is an art. It's a new form of art. Now, people didn't accept art every time something new came out. Like the Impressionists, remember that? You know, they like went outdoors and then they like painted like the trees and the forest and whatever, right? Like they went outside, like they were not in the studio drawing like people like doing poses. Okay, like they actually went out to the forest and they went out to the pond, and they would like, dude, there were artists even that had different easels. And look, this is what happens when you're a real artist, right? Like you have to look at art history, okay? Every time in art history, there was like a breakthrough, there was like a technological breakthrough that kind of forced the entire perspective of what is art to change. Now, right now, it's AI. And I've been doing this for like 3 or 4 years. I've been in the AI art space for 3 or 4 years. And when the Impressionism movement started, people didn't even accept it was art. They were trash talking it. They're like, that's not art. You got to go to the academy. You got to learn how to paint this way. You're just moving your brush around, and every painting you do looks like it's not even finished. That's like an outline. That's not a finished piece. That's what they were saying back then, right? Every movement, even like when what is that? Andy Warhol was doing those Brillo, whatever, Brillo, or those Campbell tomato soup pieces, screen printing. People were like, "What is this?" Right? When the camera came out, it's like, why do you want to paint a landscape? You should just oil paint it. Learn how to draw. Learn how to draw. You shouldn't use a camera. That's what they were saying, right? Yeah, exactly. And so I feel very passionate about this because I killed myself trying to be a good artist, right? Trying to be a famous artist for the longest time. And that was like life before social media, okay? Days where I stared into the blackness, which is like the whiteness of the canvas, and try to come up with something out of nothing. And here we are right now, where you have millions and millions of artists, or however many, having their art trained by AI. Now, this is a murky topic. This, I don't have an opinion on, because I do think artists should be paid if AI uses it. But you can't control AI using your art. You can't control it. Because if this company's not doing it, then another one is. Well, what if a company that you start in a country and the government of the country doesn't care that the AI artist is, or that the artist is paid for, quote unquote, illegally training the art? What are you going to do then? Okay, in the US, we're more sensitive to like, okay, yes, this discussion is important. Artists should be paid for their art. I agree. Because I'm an artist. It's like, how would I feel if, somebody just uses AI to copy my style? I'd be pissed off, man. You know why? It took me 30 years to hone my craft. It's like, it took me a whole lifetime. And here's what else AI is doing to kind of change the perspective of everything, right? Is like, I spend a whole lifetime trying to learn how to be a good artist, okay? I went to art school in Maryland, all right? Maryland Institute College of Art, MICA. I spent 4 years there. Even before that, I was in AP art. I went to art camp, for crying out loud, for 2 weeks with some incredibly talented artists that were handpicked. So the school I was at in Texas, we entered art competitions. I won some awards. It's like every day I was drawing and painting, like during high school, even junior high. I went to I was just doing so much drawing, right? Trying to be a good artist. And then like someone just takes my art and then they can use AI and then they could just, you know, make my style of art better than I can make it in seconds? Like, are you kidding? Like, yeah, of course I'll be mad, right? But what are you gonna do? You know, the art is public. If you upload your art on Instagram, where do you think it's going? You know, if you put it on, you know, whatever website, Facebook, you know, TikTok, any, you know, any platform, you don't think someone's gonna download it and upload it into AI? Like, you can't stop it, and there's no easy answer. You know? Yeah, I would be extremely mad. You use my style to train AI. It took me 30 years to get that style. What do you mean you could just put it in the AI and just make art better than me? First of all, it's not you who made the style, it's me. And second of all, it took me 30 years to get that style. It's not fair. Yes, it's not fair. It's freaking reality, man. And that was a huge reality check for me. Is when I put my own art into AI. And then I had it remake drawings to show myself. And I was like, holy crap, the AI is better than me. And that's when I realized it's over. It's over. You can die or join them. As an artist, you want to die, like, not in the literal sense, but like, you want to perish or do you want to adapt? And that's what I did. It's difficult. I had an Instagram for the longest time. I was like putting art up there and nothing worked for me. I was stuck at like 1,000 followers for the longest time. And then, you know, I tapped into the AI video space and then it's like, dude, the account took off and I was very happy about that. But yes, there's no texture. There's no, you can't stand in front of an AI video in person, just stand in front of it and look at the fingerprints on it like you can with my drawings. Like you could stand in front of my freaking painting and then you can see like, holy crap, like that's a signature, you know, like that. There's texture, there's thickness, there are layers to a painting. It isn't like you just paint something and it's finished. Like there's an underpainting on top of the canvas. There's a layer of gesso, and then you know there's a layer of oil. You gotta wait for the oil to dry, and then you paint on that layer depending on what color it is. Like there's so much to physical art, right? I'm just saying it's different than AI art. So where do I stand on this? Okay, so the first was the whole Studio Ghibli trend blowing up on X once GPT-4 released their latest, you know, image creation tool, which is phenomenal. It is the best, craziest thing I've ever seen. I love it. And I've been playing around with it too. I've been putting images in there and kind of like getting it to turn it into Studio Ghibli. But not only Studio Ghibli style, I mean, you can do like Simpsons style. You can do other styles. You know, I mean, I've seen people do like Family Guy stuff and like Mad TV. It's over. As an artist, it's over. And I'm happy that it's over. Because I never succeeded as an artist. I don't want to say that lightly because I like to make art, but I haven't touched a paintbrush in years, man. Ever since I started doing social media, it's like people like to watch me more than look at my drawings without my face in it. You know, it's like, it's kind of discouraging because like in another life, you know, I wish I found a better way to be famous as an artist, but it's like, I don't have another life. And see, that's how I feel about like media, right? I could spend 30 years making a style, learning a medium, and trying to get good at it, trying to develop my own fingerprint, right? My own DNA in the history of art. Because see, we come from a long line of artists, right? We don't just come out of nowhere. Even we copy, you know, we go to galleries, even in art school. We went to galleries, we went to museums. You know what we did? We drew sculptures in our sketchbooks. We copied artists. You don't think AI is doing that? Of course it's doing that. But you know what? It does it better. And that's the difference, is that, like, yes, humans copy, and you can see the flaws in what is being copied in the sketchbooks. You can see, like, you know, the mistakes. You can see the nuance, right? You can't do that in AI. You could when AI first started training, and you could, people laughed at it, right? Aha, you know, AI images is, you know, it's not real. Look at the fingers, man. There's like 6 fingers, right? And the face is all weird and warped. But I knew one day they wouldn't be laughing anymore. And you know what? They weren't. Okay? They stopped laughing. And that was like last year, this year, the laughter stopped. Okay? Now, video is going through the same evolution right now. People are laughing at AI video, like, look at this face. Look at that, man. Look at the way he's moving. Look at the facial expressions. The face is melting, whatever, right? Yeah. Well, they stopped laughing recently. Okay? And next year, I predict, dude, AI is just going to do a lot more than it is right now. I'm just saying. And there's nothing and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Because technology doesn't stop with regulation. You can try to regulate it, but if you regulate it, someone else is gonna keep going. And they're gonna beat you. And then what are you gonna do? You know that when DeepSeek came out, the US stock market tanked. Had the worst stock market drop in US stock market history. It's a race. Who gets there first? How you get there? Morally, ethically, as a Christian, as a citizen of the world, you know, as an American, it matters. Yeah. How you get there matters. But you know what? You've got to choose one or the other, man. It's either like race to the finish line no matter what, or try and regulate and put rules and boundaries around, like, being nice and being good as a person. Be a good person. You want to be a good person, or do you want to win the race? It's a ruthless race, and there's no easy answer about this. Again, you know, I spent 30 years making art, or, you know, 40 years, because I'm 41 right now. But like, when I was a kid until when I when I was an adult, I was using pencil, pen, oil painting, acrylics, and then now I use large language models. Okay, and so I use AI to make art now. Do I want to go back to the canvas? I do. Do I want to go back to paper? It's more transparent when I express myself through physical objects, right? But what am I gonna do? I have to meet people where they are. They're in front of their phones, and I have to meet people where they are. Now, I can, you know, go out and get a job and then make art to support it. But I'm on social media, so I have to work with, like, all of you guys in front of your phones and, you know, your screens on your computer right now. I have to work with you guys. I have to meet where you guys are. I have to make content, right? I have to feed the algorithm. It's always hungry and it's never full. So I have to compromise, sacrifice how much time I spend, you know, making content for the algorithm, how much time I spend, you know, making content for myself. Now, content for myself is still content. But now I have to think about, like, when I'm not online, I have to, you know, go back to my studio downstairs. Yeah. When am I going to go back? I don't know. Okay. It's a different world. So that is, you know, the battle between real artists and AI artists, I think the only people who really can talk about this are people who have made both kinds of art. People like me. I think I do have a right to talk about it. Because I've spent the majority of my life as a visual artist. I would say 30 out of the 40 years, no, 35 out of the 41 years I've been alive, I've been making art, pencil, acrylic, oil, whatever, okay? I have a studio downstairs. I have stacks of paintings, framed and unframed. I went to art school, for crying out loud. I've been in solo exhibitions. I've been a part of group exhibitions. I think I have a voice, right? When it comes to like this discussion between is AI art real art? Because I use AI to make my art now. Like, does that make me less of an artist? I don't think so. I think AI is just another medium. And I think the definition of medium is changing because pencils can't think for themselves. One day, AI might think for itself. And once AI thinks for itself and makes art for me, am I the artist? I believe I am. Because the idea starts with me. And then it becomes, okay, well, what if the AI has an idea and runs with it that's different than you? We'll talk about that when that happens. All right. So that's like what I wanted to talk about. Man, it's good to see all you guys here. Let's get right into it. Next is diversity is a luxury, not a necessity in media. Representation is important only in proportion to the society and the market that's consuming it. So, this is what I mean. If I think it's fair to say that if my market is the USA, then I'm going to look at the demographics, okay? How many are, Christian, how many are not Christian, how many are white or other races, black, yellow, brown, what have you. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that my cast and crew reflects an equal ratio and percentage to the people that's watching it. I think that's fair to say, okay? Because it'd be weird, right? If like every cast and crew member in Hollywood was Chinese or like, Mexican, but the audience and the market and the people watching it are in the US, and that does not reflect the people. It doesn't reflect people culturally who's watching it. You know what I'm saying? So, which is a personal quote, diversity is a luxury, not a necessity in media. Manga, comics, anime, TV shows, movies. I don't care. However people are consuming it, right? Too many TV shows and movies are, I grew up in the 90s, in the 80s, early 2000s, right? That's like when everything I think was really good. Like all the, screenwriting was like, is the bedrock. It's like the most important thing in a movie. You go to a movie theater, watch a movie, okay? The writing is the most important thing. That's number one. Number two, the directing is the second most important thing. Like you want to make sure that the director is using the writing and just bringing it to life, right? But too many times recently, I think the writing and the directing is being sacrificed for other things that don't matter to the movie or the show or the medium, the video game, the book, the screen, or whatever. You've got to get the experience right. Like it's got to be a good experience first. Okay, it's a good movie. Okay, now let's work on diversity. Let's work on costume design. Let's work on the set design. but like it's gotta work as an experience first. Like it's gotta be a good quality movie. Like everyone's definition is different, you know. But the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, right? I think that's his name. It's like it's gotta have that hero's journey, or it's just gotta it's gotta be the most important thing, more important than diversity, more important than making sure everyone's represented, which I think is important. But it's like even if it's represented, it's like gotta be equal proportion to the market share. That's just me, and I think you know the topic of wokeness is huge. Is huge, like everywhere on social media. Oh, you're woke, you're anti-woke. But you've got to know like why people are talking about wokeness. It didn't just come out of nowhere, okay? And it's not just the US, like it's global. That's the thing. There is a political connection to that. There is a social connection to that. And I think the incentive and the motivation to prioritize wokeness is good. It comes from a good place. All right, let me just start there. Wokeness comes from a good place. It comes from empathy, comes from sympathy, comes from relatability, it comes from generosity, whatever you want to call it, hospitality, being nice, being kind, being a good person, moral person, ethical person, being a good man or woman, right? Whatever. It comes from a good place, right? But it should not be an expense to the quality of what is there already. Like, you shouldn't make a bad screenplay and bad directing, but be diverse. That's the wrong priority. It's a luxury, not a necessity. You understand? A good movie needs to be a good movie. I don't care if you're white or black or brown. I don't care what race is the actor or the actress. I just want to feel like I'm in the shoes of the protagonist. You know, I want them to take me on an emotional roller coaster. Because look at anime. Look at cartoons. I can relate to the characters. They're not even human. Okay? Not even, American or whatever race. I can relate to them because it's a good quality plot, story, movie, directing, screenwriting, what have you. So it's got to be a good experience first. That's all I'm saying. Representation, DEI, diversity, that's a luxury, okay? It should never be a necessity. That's all I'm saying. Representation should never be a necessity. That's a controversial take because let's say there is a test and everyone needs to write this test, and a certain culture or a certain demographic does better on this test. Should we change the rules of the test so that all demographics can score equal or have an equal chance of scoring a high score on this test? I don't think so. Don't change the test. Make a new test for something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep the test the way it is because the test was written so that the society in which this test is used to qualify people is what keeps this part of society quality. That's all I'm saying, okay? Like the test to get into the sports league or the test to get into this school, the test to get into this job. You should make the test harder. You should not think about diversity and representation when you're writing this test because it's colorblind. The only job of this test is to get the job done and get the job done in a way that that helps society function quality. That's important, okay? Diversity, DEI, it's a luxury. It comes after, okay? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, be nice after, but let's make sure this world is running smoothly first, okay? All right? And the test does not discriminate. The test is only a reflection of either your brains or your bones, right? The next topic that I wanted to touch on is when the bedrock of civilization collapses, another will take its place. Now, this is a very hard topic to talk about, and I cannot, I can't get into it too much because of the backlash. So let me just have a drink. I need a drink every now and then because I'm just talking so much. So what I mean by that, when the bedrock of civilization collapses, another will take its place. Societies and religions, right? Look at today and the culture in which the religion or the culture in which the rules of a city or a country is built on. Like once the morals die, then the people are lost. And once the people are lost, they have nothing to fall back on because the moral is dead. And then so when you have other people coming into a city or a country and they bring their morals, that people group that abandoned their morals and ethics and religion are going to be replaced by the new people that have their own morals and ethics and religion. Think about it. Think about that. Because the person with the morals and the ethics and the religion are always going to be more convicted of their morals, ethics, and religion than the person who abandoned theirs. I'm just going to leave it there. And then all you have to do is turn on the news and look at what's happening around you, and then you will figure it out. Okay? So the point is, do not abandon your morals, ethics, and religion upon which the foundation of your city and country and state was built upon. So if it's a Christian country and you abandon Christianity, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be another religion that comes and takes its place, or it's going to be another philosophy that comes in and takes its place, or it's going to be another ideology that comes in and takes its place. Either way, something is going to come in and take over that city, state, country. Why? Because the people in that city, state, country have no conviction. They have no reason to say to the people that's coming in with another set of morals and ethics and principles, ideologies, philosophy, religion. They have no reason to say, no, we don't, their motivation to reject this new people coming in, it's going to be weaker than the conviction of the people coming in. Look around you. That's all I have to say. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into specific names or anything. Next topic. Okay. Cancel culture goes both ways. Okay, cancel culture. I think cancel culture, it comes from a good place. But it may not be expressed correctly. We have a reason to gripe and complain, and that's our right. To be dissatisfied and unhappy with the way things are. That's fine. We have that right. Cancel culture, though, it's like, I don't like the way you think, so I don't think you should exist or be. I don't think you should be promoted. I don't think you should have a voice. I think the words you're saying should be taken away from you. I think your position in society should be taken away from you. I think your financial income, your job, your position, your occupation, your influence, your social media, your bank account, your app account, your platform account. I think it should be taken away from you because I don't like the way you think. It's a complicated topic. Cancel culture. Yeah, the right cancels and the left cancels. Honestly, the most important, like, if you're watching this right now, the most important thing that you have is your brain. Let me just drink. Hold on, sorry. I've been like talking for like 40 minutes nonstop. Hold on. All right. The most important thing you have is your brain. Why is your brain the most important thing? Because your brain thinks. Once your brain stops thinking, what use, good, function is of your brain? There's no importance because the whole reason you have a brain is to think. Okay? Now, if you put a gate around what you're able to think about, or should we put boundaries around what you're allowed to think about? I don't think so. I think the freedom to think is your most important asset. The most important thing that you have watching this is your ability to think. How about that? The second most important thing is your freedom to think. Okay? If I take away your freedom to think, then what is the reason for you to have the ability to think? I want you to think. Think for yourself, think for others, whatever. I don't care. I just want you to think. Now, the next thing is the third most important thing is your freedom to talk. Like, say what you want. Okay? The most dangerous thing that could ever happen to you is if someone takes away your freedom to talk. Because if they take away your freedom to talk, then they're going to scare you into the freedom to think. And if they scare you into stopping to think, then why do you have a brain? They're taking away the most important thing you have is your brain. The whole reason you have a brain is to think. I don't care what you think about. Just think for yourself. You don't have to agree with me. I don't care. Just know that. Number one, your ability to think is so important. Number two, your freedom to think is so important too. But you have to have the ability to think in order to be free to think. Number three, the freedom to talk. Because if you can't talk about certain things, then you can't think about those things, can you? And if you can't think about those things, then why do you have the ability to think? It doesn't make any sense. Hello? That's when we get into cancel culture. Because what it does, it's like, I'm going to take away your social media account because I don't like the way you talk. And because I don't like the way you talk, I'm going to take away all of your jobs. And if I take away all of your jobs, then you're not going to have any money. Sorry, you can't have dinner tonight because I took away your job. Yeah, I took away your salary. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to pay for dinner tonight. Yeah, because you said something that I don't like. Okay, this whole freedom of speech thing. Yeah, no, I don't like the way you talk. You know what? I'm gonna take away your money, and you go online and check your bank account. Actually, try to do that because I'm gonna take away your login ability because you said something that I didn't like. How is that gonna make me feel? I'm gonna be so scared to think about anything because like what if I offend someone? So your freedom to talk is important. And that's where censorship comes in, cancel culture. Um, it's so important because when you take away somebody's freedom to say something, you take away somebody's freedom to think about something. And when you do that, how is the next inventor going to invent something if they're scared to think about going there in their brains because you took away their job? How is science going to be better tomorrow if they're scared to think about that science? Because they're not going to think about it. Because you took away their job. You took away their money. Because they said something you don't like. Because you didn't like the freedom of speech. And people say this all the time, you know? It's freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. It's freedom of, yeah, freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequence. Okay, that's true. And I agree. If I am selling something on YouTube and you put my video of me selling something on a video that's about a war isolating half of my consumers, I'm going to be really mad. I'm going to be like, "Hey, I mean not mad, but you know what I mean, right? Like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. As a company, I think I can choose what video I want to put my commercial in. I want to put my commercial here. Like, in the beginning or in the middle or in the end of this video. But I think I have the right to choose which video I put my commercial in. So yeah, censorship, cancel culture. Like, I can choose not to put my video there and choose not to pay you because I don't want to put my video next to yours. I think I have that right. Okay, that's fine. But when you take away my bank account, you take away my app account, you take away my social media account because I say something. Fine. I'm going to be scared to talk. I'm going to be scared to think. Inventors are going to be scared to invent. Scientists are going to be scared to science because maybe they say something about medicine that the social media company doesn't like. Maybe the social media company believes this science is correct, but there's another scientist that believes that science is correct. What are you going to do then? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do? Are you more qualified than the scientist that has a 360-degree or 180-degree opinion than you? Like, do you really think you know more than a scientist about a medicine? If they completely think of it differently than you? Do you think your opinion overrides, is more accurate than a scientist about science? Trust the science. Follow the science. Well, what if my science is 180 degrees different than your science? And what if I'm a scientist with a PhD? What are you going to do then? Trust the science? Yeah, okay. Which science? Because there's different kinds of perspectives on every science. Anyways, not every science. I mean, yes, every science, actually. All right. So that's that, okay? Cancel culture goes both ways. Both sides do it. Everyone in the middle does it. I think there should be no cancel culture on the products or services that the person put out if they say something wrong. But there's a fourth thing called the freedom to do, okay? The freedom to do and the freedom to talk are different, because I could do something illegal and then, depending on the country you're in, should face the laws of the country or the government in which you're from. That's different, okay? So we see in the news like the vandalism of Teslas. And I'm going to get into this right now. Sorry. All right. Teslas are being vandalized all over the US. I just bought a Tesla, and I love my Tesla. It is a very good car. The little iPad monitor thingy, all the cameras, how I can take a right, and then it shows me 3 camera angles. Are you kidding? The softness of the steering wheel, the heater in the steering wheel, the fact that I could just press my foot down and then lift it and not have to move my feet right and left in order to go and stop on my car. I love that about my Tesla. A lot of these people that are vandalizing, do they even have a Tesla? It is a really good product. Like, just because you hate someone, or just because you think that someone is doing this to the world and you paint them as a subhuman, like, that is okay. If you're vandalizing the Teslas or whatever, I'll still see you as a human. But like, dude, why do you attack someone's private property? If you attack my Tesla, how do you think it'll make me feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love my car. Okay? That's all I'm saying. It's like damaging private property is a crime. Like, when was it not a crime? You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand the current movement around destroying that. I understand, like, stepping out and like looking in. Okay, fine. You don't like this person, so you'll destroy this person's products. But guess what? It's not their products anymore when someone else buys it, right? It becomes my product because I bought it. It's mine. Anyways, that's like a whole nother thing, right? It's like boycotting is one thing. Okay, you know what? I don't like what you said, so I'm not going to buy your drink. You can do that, right? Because you're not making any actions. You're not doing anything, right? You're just saying, you know what? I'm not going to drink that drink because I don't like what the owner of the drink said. You have every right to do that. But if you say, you know what? I'm going to go to your car and I'm going to bomb it, explode it, whatever, because I don't like what you said. That's different. That's a crime. There's a difference! Okay. Lastly. Actually, not lastly. Does body count matter? All right, now this is a dating topic, or a topic that boys and girls talk about, right? Maybe when they're older. Does body count matter? Well, what is body count? All right. All right. Body count. I think that guys and girls, they have the right to say, I want a man that has had this many girlfriends. Or like, I want a woman who has had this many boyfriends. That's okay. Or that has slept with this many people. I don't know if there's any kids here, but like, that's an adult conversation. I think guys and girls have every right to say what they want or don't want in a man or a woman. That's fine. Like, you know, I want a girl who's dated this many guys. That's okay, right? or a girl says, I want a guy who's 6 feet tall. That's fine. Who has a six pack. That's cool. Hey, that's your right. Okay. So now, should you shame somebody because they've had uh this many boyfriends or girlfriends? I think it's mean, but it's your choice. It's your right. You can shame them if you want, but it's like, you know, it's just kind of mean, right? But does it matter? I think it matters more to guys than girls. Like, I think guys want, you know, pure virgins on their wedding night. I don't want to be like disgusting and say like, I don't want to gross you out and make you throw up. Okay? But it's like that's what guys want. Like, they want pure virgins on their wedding night. What do girls want? They want a man that'll take care of their every need. I'm talking about a conservative traditional family or a conservative society, city, country, state. That's what they want. Each sex. That's what I think they want, at least. Uh, and do guys really want boss babes? You know, like a girl who has like 10 jobs, you know, who's climbing the corporate ladder, who also has a family at home, who I don't think guys want that. I don't think guys want a weathered woman. They want a round woman, like a smooth woman. They don't want a wrinkled, weathered woman, inside and outside. They don't want an experienced, overexperienced woman who's weathered and rough on the inside and out. But girls, it's the opposite. Like, they want that in a man. Like, they want a guy who's gone through hell and back, outside and the inside. Like, they're very rough, you know? They're experienced. They can teach the girl stuff. Like, they can be her leader and show her stuff and help her and provide for her and every need provided for. Like, as a father, I have a son and a daughter. I treat them different. I talk to them different. I think my son, I'm gonna teach him, hey, keep your hands to yourself. Okay. I teach my daughter, hey, don't let anyone touch you. I tell them that, right? Even my son, hey, don't let anyone touch you as well. But it's like, when I had a son, I felt like I was born again. And this is weird because I started doing like how to name your Asian baby, you know, and social media and making videos and making people laugh. I was doing that long before I had my kid. Actually, not that long, actually. I think it was like a year apart. But like, I didn't know what it's like to be a dad. And then once I had my son, I felt like I did not exist before my son was born. It's a weird feeling, but it's like, where have I been my whole life without my son here? And it made me look at life from a brand new pair of eyes that I never had before. And then when I had my daughter, it was as if I didn't know what it was like to exist from another angle. Like, every girl I saw after I had my daughter, I looked at them and they made me feel a different way, as if they were once a baby girl. Because I have a baby girl now. So I look at, every girl in my life, every female that I talk to, ever, I talk to them differently. I act differently around them. I treat them differently because I know what it's like for those females to be a baby, because I now have a baby who's a girl. I don't know if you feel that way. If you're a father and you have a girl, you have a daughter, I am so protective of both my kids. And the whole topic of should kids be on social media, maybe maybe we could talk about that like another time, but like, I love my kids to death, right? And you know, those are a few mind-blowing realizations that I had when I had kids. It's like, holy crap, like, I'm a different man, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. So does body count matter? I think to a man it matters more, but I think to a woman it matters less. But that's just me. And I don't speak for everyone, you know? And but should you be a floozy? Should you go out and date as many people as you can? I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessarily right, nor do I think it's necessarily wrong. I just think that, like, okay, if you're a girl and you've had like 30 boyfriends, I don't think it's necessarily wrong. It's just like, how will your future husband look at you, think of you? If they're okay with it, then I don't see anything wrong with that. That's cool. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, most guys I've come across want a pure virgin on their wedding night. Most content I've come across who has included males talking to people on social media, or, characters in movies. Yeah, that's what they want too. They want a girl who has not been shown the world by another man. A guy who can show her the world, like Aladdin. I can show you the world. Like, they introduced them to all kinds of things, and the girl experiences it for the first time, and makes the guy feel great. It makes the girl feel great. But that's a Disney movie, and we could talk about this more another time. I'm getting a little. I've never talked this long before, like an hour straight, like with no rest. This is insane. You know what? I'm gonna stop here. So thank you for joining this episode of The Living Room. And now we're gonna get into the questions. So I'm gonna open the chat now. Let's see here. And let's see all the comments in the chat. We've got Lu Hee Jun, Amar, Kanavo, RPG, A-Run, Ding, Eswat. How do you say that? Eswatinimbambini? Oh, yeah, awesome. Dakota, thank you. What's up, guys? We have a few people here just chatting. And this is like my podcast, but now we just finished it, so we're just gonna hang out. And just have a chill session and just talk and stuff. What's up, guys? What do you want to talk about, man? What's up, Mind Munch? The hell? Thank y'all for being here. And yeah. What topics y'all want to talk about in the future? We can consider those, but these were the topics that, like, were top of mind for me. But yeah, I think we're good, guys. So thank y'all for watching. This has been live, and I hope you guys got something out of it. I know I did, definitely. And we'll talk more. We'll talk soon, and I'll try to do this more often. Not because, like, people are, like, telling me to have these podcast episodes more often, but, like, just because I'm not the same man you saw 5 years ago. Some people watch my baby videos like 5 years ago, and they think I'm the same person or whatever, and they always see me as like a meme. I'm not the same guy. Ding! I don't have any kids, but I can understand you're feeling that way about a father after having them. Oh yeah, like, and I'm just saying, like, you don't have to have a kid, and I'm not telling you to have a kid. But I'm saying, if that's what you want, and also, like, you and your future wife or future husband, like, you guys got to figure out, like, do you even want to have a kid? And it's not for everybody. And for most of my life, I always knew that one day I wanted to be a dad. And I just didn't know which day that would be. And so far, I've loved being a dad. It's it's hard in the ways I thought it would be hard, and it's hard in the ways I didn't know it was going to be hard, but it's also easy in the ways that I knew it was going to be easy, and then easy in the ways that I didn't know it would be easy. But either way, like, I didn't know it was going to be hard in this way. I didn't know it was going to be easy in this way. And I learned about what it's like to be a dad. Thank you, Juliet. Appreciate it. And I love being a dad, and it's hard to be a dad. And I would never reverse my life to when I did not. I would never reverse my life to when I was not a dad. And I love my kids. I love my son. I love my daughter. I love my wife. And I would not give anything to change what I have. And I think my son being born was the biggest change in my life because he looks just like me. And it's crazy. Some of you saw my son. I don't show him on YouTube. I don't show him on Instagram or Facebook that much. Thank you, Radiance. This hat, oh my gosh, this hat costed me like 60 bucks. This hat cost me like 60 bucks. But let me let you in on a little secret. This is my favorite hat. This is my favorite hat. It's beautiful. I love it. I like the back. Look at that. It's got like a little rope here. That's cool. It's got like nice letters. Thank you, Juliet. Yeah, I am real. Hopefully I'm real. Jake, what's up? I said the hell earlier. But yo, thank you for being here. It's just good to see you guys again. Yeah, $60. Can you believe it? But I think I was going on like a shopping rampage. I was like, oh, well, I like this hat. Oh, I like that hat. Oh, I like this. I like that. And then I just like put it at the cashier and I'm like, okay, I want it. And then I just got it. So it's like, it's crazy how I was so reckless with my spending, but it's like at the same time, I don't regret this hat because I like it. So this is kind of the podcast episode, and it's like the beginning and the end. I'm gonna cut it off, and I'm gonna put the rest of it in the podcast called The Living Room. So please check it out. It's a new podcast I started, and this is kind of like the ending of the live stream. And so, all right, y'all. It's been fun. I'm gonna kind of get off now, and hopefully you guys have a great day or a great night, and see you on the next episode of The Living Room.